What's going on, y'all? It's the kid Jay Nolan here. Now, keeping up with relationship problems gone bad, we're going to talk about this guy who allegedly, I won't even say allegedly, this guy who went out of his way to sully his ex-girlfriend's name, put out explicit photos of his ex-girlfriend, and did everything in his power to tarnish her in public forums. And he also stole money from her bank account to pay his bills. And how he's paying the ultimate price right now in Illinois. It's been determined by a judge that he's going to have to pay this woman $1.2 billion in damages for all of his transgressions. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and preface this. There's no fucking way this man is ever gonna pay this off. He was definitely not making that type of money. They split back in 2020, 2021, around the time he had lost his job. So he clearly was not rolling in the dough. She left him shortly after losing that. So she was probably looking at him like, hey man, I can't do this. I can't take care of you. Like I said, he hacked into her bank account and continued to pay his bills using her money. So clearly he does not have 1.2 million, 1.2 billion. And he might not even have 1.2 thousand in his savings at this moment. You know, let's just keep it all the way real. However, like I said, after all of the torment he put this young lady through, he's paying the ultimate price. So let's get into the whole backstory. According to the Huffington Post, they say the relationship between DL, that is the alias that they've given the young lady. They're not calling her by her real name because she's already suffered enough. And her boyfriend started to fall apart in 2020 while they were living together in Chicago. Not long after that, as DL's lawyers tell it, the spying began. Fueled by what attorneys describe as delusional and paranoid jealousy, her ex, Marcus Jamal Jackson, they put his full name out that motherfucker. He logged into a security system in DL's mother's house in Texas, where she had temporarily moved. At that point, he began recording her every move without her knowledge or her consent. Over the course of the next few years, Jackson ramped up his efforts against this young lady. He decided he wanted to publicly shame her and upend her life. He took advantage of access to her phone, emails, social media, bank accounts, and even hacked into her company's security system. And when I say her company, I'm talking about her job. He gathered explicit images of DL along with her personal information and shared them with the world via a publicly accessible Dropbox folder, a page on a prominent porn site, and multiple social media platforms. He sent the links to her family, friends, and co-workers. Just continued to make her life a living hell while he got to sit behind the anonymity of a screen putting this thing together. I don't even know how he had so much time to do this. Clearly, after he lost his job, he didn't go back to work. On March 5th of 2022, Mr. Jackson sent her a message stating, "You will spend the rest of your life trying and failing to wipe yourself off the internet. Everyone you ever meet will hear this story and go looking. Happy hunting." This is only part of the story. This is only some of the allegations that have been made against this guy. Miss DL filed her lawsuit against Jackson in April of 2022, and last week a jury in Harris County, Texas awarded her $1.2 billion, like I stated, much more than what was originally sought. Miss DL's lead attorney by the name of Bradford Guild, he told the New York Times that he doesn't expect Jackson to pay out this whole $1.2 billion. He said that there are legal remedies that she can pursue in execution of the judgment, and Jackson will adversely spend the rest of his life trying and failing to wipe this financial debt clear, okay? So the tables have been completely turned on this bitch ass nigga. Her lawyer continues, "This trial was not about the money or the number, it was about the message. We applaud the strength of her to file this lawsuit and to set an example by warning others that if you engage in image-based SA, you will spend the rest of your life with an excess judgment over your head." Let's do the Dougie one time for him. According to additional court documents, Jackson and DL, they started their relationship back in 2016. The young lady described the early days of their relationship as one of mutual love and trust. As the years went on, she entrusted Mr. Jackson with access to her and her mother's personal information and accounts, which included email, social media logins, and electronic devices at her mother's home, which included the security system. So she entrusted him with all these things, possibly because she went out there, visiting her mom. He probably was putting himself in a protector type of light. So she was like, all right, whatever you need or whatever. She probably just offered it to him, to be honest. Like, hey, I'm going to be out here. I'm going to be out there. if you want to check the cameras and make sure nobody's roaming in the house while she's gone, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Stuff that sometimes you don't really think about. You don't think that your partner is going to use against you. But she literally gave him the keys to the car. I guess they kind of broke up in 2020, started seeing each other less, or maybe they went on breaks, but they officially ended everything in October of 2021. And at that point, Mr. Jackson started to believe that DL was in an intimate relationship with a mutual friend of theirs. At that point that he was suspecting this, that's where he began to get a little bit more crazy and aggressive with his attacks on her. They say as his activity increased, DL began keeping an Excel spreadsheet itemizing all of these attacks, the publication method and addresses of those attacks, and the specific evidence of the attack. They said that the spreadsheet that she ended up compiling, it spans 5 pages of activity over the course of 3+ years. In a quote from Miss DL herself, she says, "I couldn't wrap my mind around what was happening. It was such a deeply hurtful betrayal by someone I loved and trusted. And when it didn't stop, I was met with an overwhelming feeling that I had no control. I felt violated and disgusting and a great shame. Those feelings only got worse as it continued." In the time between October 2021 and March of 2022, this guy kept harassing her. He abused her login information. He changed her Zoom login information and began emailing a loan officer of hers with the claim that she took a fraudulent loan. Also, as I stated before, he hacked into her bank accounts to continue paying off his rent and make purchases without her consent. Just real broke boy activity, man. You know what I'm saying? Normally, I don't say stuff like broke boy and all that type of stuff. I normally don't judge people by their financial situation. But in this case, you definitely need your ass whooped. You need your ass roundhouse. And you need your ass MK uppercutted for all this shit that you've been doing. And the fact that they put your name out there from first, middle, and last name, you deserve that shit too. Don't try to legally change your shit. Take your punishment. Take everything, because you taunted her and you wanted her to tell the police and all that type of shit. You thought that they wasn't gonna do shit, and they on your ass. He repeatedly called and texted her using fake phone numbers, harassing her, using fake social media profiles to harass her friends, families, and co-workers, all sending them intimate images and private information. According to DL's attorney, they tried everything in her power to stop this guy, including pressing criminal charges, getting a restraining order, and contacting the online platforms to take the explicit material down. But she said she never got any helpful responses from authorities. They weren't making any moves to help her. She says, "There was a vivid moment when I felt there was no escape. I felt I was completely hopeless. I felt no one would hear my plea for help." This guy, Marquez Jackson, he never actually responded to the lawsuit. He refused to actually appear in court to defend himself, which her lawyer suggested was an attempt to keep the verdict lower by thinking they would assign him an automatic default judgment. He also states she absolutely won, and so every time this man tries to apply for a job or tries to apply for credit or maybe even gets a new girlfriend, all they need to do is Google Marquez Jamal Jackson, and what comes up is going to be a $1.2 billion judgment. So be careful what you ask for. So as you can clearly see here, the state of Illinois, the jury, all of these people, they decided to make an example out of this punk ass boy. Okay? And I want this to be a message for all the men out there, not just the men, just anyone out there, as a matter of fact, because it's not just men that do these things. And I want to make sure I specify that. For all of you hurt people out there, relationships don't go the way that you may have wanted or intended or hoped for. You might be heartbroken. Somebody may have whatever reason it is that they don't want to be with your ass. You're going to have to learn to deal with your pain by yourself. If you need a little bit of extra help, talk to your friends, talk to a therapist, seek professional help, learn how to structure your breathing exercises, all that type of shit, man. You're going to have to do that. But trying to embarrass and punish and torment somebody because they don't want to be with you, what exactly do you think that's going to do? Do you think that's going to make them fall back in love with you? Because that's not going to happen. Do you think that's going to make them think any nicer of you? You think that's going to give them fond memories about your sorry ass and the sorry ass relationship and whatever amount of time they spent around you? Because it's not. I've actually been in a situation where I broke up with somebody and they decided to try to publicly shame me, try to talk about me online, tried to make false allegations about me, all these types of things, stuff that I refused to even acknowledge for a certain amount of time. I spoke with police. They said they couldn't do shit, just continue to be a good guy. So at some point I did have to address it. They failed to fuck back. But as somebody who sat in that seat, I understand the anxiety that you go through. I understand the levels of uncertainty that you experience because you don't know what this person is going to do or say next, right? This person actually tried to sabotage relationships between myself and people that I work with in music, collaborators, telling them not to work with me and all this different type of stuff. I definitely understand how somebody can go and try to reach out to your family, your friends, your coworkers, your professional relationships, and all of this type of stuff and try to do whatever they can to sabotage your situation. Anybody that does that, you deserve whatever the fuck comes to you, whether that's an ass whooping, whether that's a $1.2 billion judgment so you'll never ever make any real money in your life, whether it's just karmic energy that doesn't allow you to thrive. Whatever it may be, you deserve all the punishment that you receive because you really thought you was gonna get away with that shit. You really thought that that shit was cute. You really dedicated your life and decided you wasn't even gonna go back to work or put no motherfucking job applications in. Your job became trying to disrupt this girl's peace. So yeah, you gonna have to deal with that shit, sir. You gonna have to eat that shit, sir. And your name is all over online. People probably gonna be able to find your bitch ass photos. And I hope you get marked out. For real, for real. For all you Chicago motherfuckers out there that's doing senseless violence with no reason, no rhyme or reason, just trying to find shit to get into, y'all might want to see what he up to, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna leave it at that. Let me know what y'all think of this down below in the comments. Be sure to like and share this video. If this is your first time seeing me on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the post notification bell for all updates, and I will see y'all on the next one, all right? Much love and respect. Y'all stay safe out there. Peace.